Hello and welcome to Sitting Down with Schneider. Today is May the 27th, and we are going to be sitting down today with Claire and Emma Finn. So let's bring in the Finn girls. Looks like, hey, there they are.
Hey.
There it is. There's the audio.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Hey, before we talk any further, are you guys okay with me recording this and putting it on the YouTube channel?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Before we continue on anymore, can you guys introduce yourselves? Let's start with Claire. Claire, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of activities you're involved in, what you're up to, and then we'll cruise on into Emma, and she can kind of introduce herself as well.
Cool. I'm Claire Finn, the oldest of the Finn twins. I just finished my freshman year at Grand Canyon University. I'm studying pre-nursing. I've known Bart, Mr. Schneider, Schneidel, for so long. We did the math before this, and we listed all the plays we've done with you. I've done 14 shows. I know, it was crazy. With you, and then all through Edna Hill. We're in all your classes, leadership, 7th and 8th grade year. I'm not doing much hobby-wise. I just got a job, so starting out there is cool. Doing a lot of baking, lots of cookies, so it's exciting.
Right on.
Is that it? Yeah, okay. That's the extent of what I've been doing.
Emma?
I'm Emma Finn. I'm the youngest of us. I'm going to LMC right now. I just finished my first year actually on Monday, so woohoo, yay me. I'm currently studying. I want to be an author, so I'm also writing a book right now. I have about 7 chapters left, so I'm really excited about that. And she's been reading it, so it's really good. I've been reading a lot. Since I just finished school, I haven't been doing much other than schooling. I just finished a painting, which I don't usually paint. So I started it at the beginning of quarantine. I just felt very I need to do something different. And so I painted a BB-8 and I just finished it yesterday. So it's hanging in my room now. So.
Right on. So yeah, there's been, in some of the other conversations, people have talked about new hobbies they've picked up because they've had the extra time on their hands. And so, Claire, it sounds like the baking was something that you had, that's a little bit new. That's more new for you to do that?
Yeah, my Nana, she's famous for her Nana cookies. So she's been teaching me how to bake the cookies. And she's like, you're stealing my job.
So you know how to make the Nana cookies now?
I do.
Right on. And Emma, you hadn't done any painting prior to that? This is kind of a new thing for you as well?
Not really. We had gone to up at the streets, the Starry Night paint studios. We've done that a few times, and we've gone to some of the classes, which are really fun. But I just never felt super artistic in that way. And I had just sat down, and my mom got us some of their supplies just to keep us busy. And I just sat down and free-handed the BB-8 and the circles. And I'd never, I don't draw. My stick figures are so sad. I don't draw because they're just so sad looking. But it was the first time I've ever free-handed a drawing. Is that how you say it? Free-handing? Yeah. And then painted it, and then was oh my gosh, that was so cool and fun. And I felt so accomplished.
Right on. Yeah. Emma, I could totally feel your drawing pain when we play Pictionary in my household. If you're on my team, you're already at a disadvantage, and I'm not looking for sympathy, because it truly is. I am that bad, and I just become the target of mockery, and it's well deserved. It's awful. Any animal I draw is a circle with stick figure, sticks sticking out of the bottom of it. It's horrible.
Yeah.
So Claire, nursing, thinking about right now with the pandemic and how on the front line nurses are right now. Are you doing any interning, or have you been at a hospital or doing anything like that as you've
Um,
been in this first step of going through your nursing degree?
I actually had planned on like I applied for an internship at Kaiser, um, but I didn't hear back, and I didn't get anything else from it. And I planned on maybe doing some volunteer work in some like Cortona Park, like places like that. But since this whole coronavirus, they aren't really allowing like volunteers because you have to be really like experienced, and they don't want to like spread it. So I haven't really done too much in that. But it's really nice because my aunt is a nurse and my uncle is a nurse anesthetist. So anesthetist. He works with anesthesia.
Anesthesiologist?
Yeah. So I like will hear stories from them, and just so it's nice to have like people that are already on the front lines that I know that are like able to tell me like how it really is going on.
And so with them on the front line, and then just, knowing that that's the degree, have you had any second thoughts, kind of like, oh man, I'm like, wow, this could be pretty intense?
Oh yeah. The first month was really scary for me. Because I personally at my school, they told us the Thursday before spring break. So they emailed us at like 3 p.m. and I was in class when they did that. And then they're like, okay, we're not coming back after spring break. So my friends and I, we cleaned up all of our stuff. We emptied out all of our dorms in like less than 48 hours. And then we were out of there. So that was really stressful. And then coming home and then just like hearing all like this negativity of like how bad it is and all this stuff, and just like no PPE and all that stuff. It was just really hard for me to hear. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's going to be me. So it was really, really hard for me to, I was second guessing it. But then I was like, well, what else would I want to do? And I did like a lot of thinking, and I was like, there's nothing else I would want to do, because helping people and being there for people in their like hardest and darkest days is like, and being able to like, I love learning about the human body. It's amazing. I'm so happy. And I'm not even like doing clinicals yet, so I haven't really done much. I'm learning more like the background stuff, but just getting a taste of what it is. I'm just so excited to be able to like be a part of such an amazing like group of people.
And I think you're going to be an amazing nurse when it all comes down. So it's nice to hear that you still want to pursue that. Emma, you mentioned you're doing that writing. So do you mind me asking like what the gist of this book you're creating is about?
Yeah. So I actually, I started writing a book like my sophomore year in high school, and I just started it because I've always loved stories. And when Claire and I were younger, we used to play with Barbies and just create these stories and these characters. And it was just how we played and had fun. And like, so in like my sophomore year, I just thought of this idea and I just kept going with it. And then about, I think it was this past January, I got into a point where I was like, I had gone back because I'd written about 10 chapters, and I was like, I went back and it was not, I wasn't connecting with the story. And I actually had this idea that had been kind of, what's the word, like stimulating in my brain, and it kept kind of like poking
brewing
me.
in your brain.
Brewing, thank you. And it kept like kind of like poking me like, hey, how you doing? I'm right here. You wanna think about me for a moment? Like, it's really weird, but that's the only way I can explain it. And I just kept, and the one thing that made me fall in love with it was the characters' names and just like the two people. And so it's about two girls, and it's kind of like a science fantasy fiction. And so they live in a different galaxy, which was really fun creating. And they are in like obviously two different worlds, but also two different like social classes. So one is like a slave, and one's like basically a queen that rules the galaxy. And they somehow, I can't say anything because it spoils it, but
Yeah, you don't want to spoil it.
I'm not spoiling it. I'm watching, I'm like, watch what you
It's like I'm sitting here going, please don't tell me the ending. Don't tell me the ending.
They somehow like find that even though they're so different, that they have more in common, and they realize, and they come together, and they fight for what they believe is right, also while finding themselves in a place where women aren't like, they're not always thought of as these strong people, especially with the girl that's the queen. She's 17 years old, and people don't really believe in her because of how young she is, but she's stronger than she thinks, and everyone thinks. It's really cool and fun. It's a really
That sounds really cool. And now, and what was that? What was that?
I read a lot of it. It's really good.
Right on. So is it more of a novel, or like young, what do they refer to it as, like young?
Yeah, it's definitely a young adult novel.
Young adult, thank you.
Yeah, and so when I had this other story in my head for almost 3-4 years, I was so like clinging on to it that I didn't realize that I had no connection to it anymore. So I kind of like put it aside. It was kind of like, oh, I'm sorry. But then when I got to this next book, I have like an entire series planned out, and I can connect with it so much better. And it's just so like amazing to be able to know, like, this is what I'm meant to do, is to tell stories, and it's like giving yourself into a story. It's just the coolest thing.
Yeah, and if you have to be in a shelter-in-place type situation, writing, it requires time, right? And so, I mean, we all have been afforded time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Have you guys been doing any, that sounds really, really neat.
Thank you. I'm really excited about it.
Can't wait to read it.
Thank you.
Have you ever thought about doing, with all the theater background and stuff, have you ever thought about writing like a play or a music, or playing with a musical at all, or anything like that?
Yeah, so
you two could collaborate on that one.
I've actually talked to a GCU counselor, and I'm starting to my plan is this is going to be my last year at LMC, and then I'm going to transfer to GCU and bug her. But they have, I'm going to be going into their screenwriting program, and I'm really excited about it. And yeah, I just think that because I have a bunch of ideas on a Word document that sometimes I'll get visions of oh, I can see this happening, or oh, I see this, and I write it down. And so yeah, I would love writing a play or TV show. That'd be so cool.
That'd be really cool. And yeah. and Claire, so she's going to be coming in onto your turf over there. You okay with that?
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I keep telling myself, because she talks about it, and I'm okay, don't get too excited because she could change her mind. So I hear her, and then I'm okay. So I want her to come, but
just not getting too excited about it, just in case.
Yeah, just in case.
Right on. Hey, so have you been doing any, I know that, at Liberty you guys did so much with singing and choir, and have you guys been keeping up on your vocals at all? Have you been doing any singing?
I have not. I really, they do have a choir at GCU, which I'm looking into, but I really wanted to focus on my studies, because everyone told me, oh, nursing is so hard, which it is. So I really wanted to focus on my studies the first year, and then I wanted to branch out and do things that I already knew that I loved. But I realized halfway, maybe even towards the end of my first semester, I was I'm really sad. And it was really hard. I was really homesick in November-ish, because I was just wanting to go home, and I just really missed everything that I already knew. So I realized once I started listening to more music and singing, I was getting happier. And so I realized I really need music in my life, because
yeah, those hobbies we love, it's nice to keep up with them, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Good. So you think you might rekindle that a little bit?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do.
Very, very cool. And Em, have you been doing any?
Yeah, so for, oh my gosh, since fourth grade, we've been taking voice lessons from Heather Sandberg.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I've been keeping up with that. And last semester, before the shelter in place, and before that as well, but last semester, I'm one of her helpers for her show choirs and her glees. It is so much fun, and it just keeps you singing, and so that was awesome. And then also dancing, so I'm getting a workout, so that's great.
And you're able to mentor those little ones.
Oh my gosh, they are the cutest things ever. And even like the older girls, they are so sweet and so hardworking, and I just miss that so much. And yeah, it was last October they actually went to Disneyland, and I went with them and helped Heather backstage, and they performed on stage. It was so cool. I definitely miss that like right now with like the shelter in place. But I'm still doing the voice lessons over FaceTime, but I can definitely tell like when I'm singing in the shower that my voice isn't like, it's not what it used to be, which I totally like, you know, things changed and everything, but like senior year, like I had choir every day. So I was singing every day, and I was like, that was when my voice was at its peak. Right now it's a little shy of that.
But it's just neat that you're still staying in it, you know. I think that's really, and then it's really fun because those little ones, you work with them when they're younger, and then, you know, you get to watch them grow up and do amazing things. I mean, you know, you two would be an example from my end. I still see you two sitting on the pillars during VDTC. That was just, I remember having that idea and telling Lisa Seamers, and she was just like, oh, that's going to be so cute. So, you know, and then, you know, they grow up, and next thing you know, one's writing a novel and one's going to be a nurse, and it's just amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So when all this is said and done, and we'll just start with Claire. I like to ask everybody when the shelter in place lifts and you can kind of go out and things return to normal, what's going to be the first one or two things that you want to do?
Disney, obviously. I mean,
Yes.
They just came out today with the dates for Disney World, Magic Kingdom, and Hollywood Studios. Animal Kingdom are opening July 11th, so I'm like, Mom.
So Disney's on your radar. That would be your first goal.
Yes, Disney is on my radar. And then second, probably just hanging out with a bunch of friends. I miss hugging friends because we've done like a bunch of like for Patrick's birthday, we did like the cars where we drive around, do the beeps.
Do the beeps.
Do the beeps.
Say hi and everything, but you don't really get that. Like, I mean, I can hug her all the time, but like,
I've heard people say honk the horn, but I never said do the beeps. And I think that's a term now that I'm gonna have to, you know, hey man, yeah, we'll come out, we'll do the parade, we'll do the beeps. Yeah.
I think that's the first time I've ever used
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be used more. It's got to be used more. So Disney and hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Emma, same kind of.
Yeah, but definitely like, yes, Disney, but like I'm not gonna be like the first person in line. I'll be like a few people back. But definitely that, and definitely hugging some friends. I really miss, like, I never realized how, like, I feel like it's obvious, but I never realized how important, like, you know, physical touch and hugging people is. And like I think I hugged like you the other day or my mom or something, and I was just like, I want to hug my friends. Like, just that feeling of like being held and being loved by people that, you know, I mean, being with your family at this time is amazing, but you know, friends, I just miss them so much, and hugging. And
yeah, it is amazing. Until that piece is taken away, you don't realize how nice a simple hug can be. You know, of course I've got the fam, you know, we've all been in quarantine, so it's not lost, but just the, you know, and some people aren't huggers, right? But for those of us that are, yeah, it's something that you're kind of like, man, it'd be nice to just be able to not have to worry, you know.
yes.
And I don't know when that's going to happen, but it'd be nice to happen. So, so you two, especially Emma, if you end up going to Grand Canyon as well, you guys gotta promise me that you'll keep an eye on Patrick every once in a while.
I will. Yeah.
I think he can hear me, but you know, love him, but he's gonna need that assistance. So that's good. I'm glad to know you guys are gonna be right down the road.
Got you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah.
This was really, really fun.
Yeah.
Super fun. And I love how you guys did the shared screen. A lot of times I actually anticipated you on being on two separate screens, but I kind of like that you guys framed it the way you did. It was really, really fun.
Yeah, well, we only have one Ethernet cable, so.
And Zoom
It
always
wasn't like your creativity was just basically forced.
and Zoom always kicks me off. Like I was on a lecture and it at like for 10, 15 minutes, and then it kicked me off. I was like, oh, no. And then I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was trying to get the thing to work and I was freaking out. So yeah, it's just because
Yeah, we didn't want that stress because I mean, as much as getting kicked off a lecture is bad, it'd be like way worse getting kicked off of this highly viewed interview. So let's be super honest. We didn't want you kicked off of that. Yeah, prioritize. All right, you guys say hi to mom and dad, okay?
We will. You too.
All right, have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.